Please help me. I need 120 subscribers. When my wife Hannah returned from her 3-day business trip, I noticed it immediately, the stains on her blouse. At first, I told myself I was imagining things. Maybe coffee spilled, maybe she brushed against something in the hotel. But as she set her suitcase down, the faint aroma of cologne, one I didn't recognize, lingered in the air. My chest tightened. Something was off. Hannah had been my partner for 7 years. We had built a life together, raising 2 kids, balancing careers, and navigating the chaos of everyday life. Trust had always been the foundation of our marriage, and I had believed it unshakable. But the sight of those stains and the foreign scent made me question everything. I decided not to confront her immediately. I watched quietly as she unpacked, chatting casually about meetings and dinners, laughing at work anecdotes. She looked perfectly composed, but my instincts, honed over years of dealing with subtle lies in the workplace, screamed that she was hiding something. Later that night, while she was asleep, I examined her clothes more closely. The stains were not from coffee, not from wine, not anything that matched the item she had packed. And there were traces of perfume that definitely didn't belong to me. My mind raced, heart pounding. I had 2 options. Pretend nothing was wrong, or take action before my suspicions spiraled out of control. I couldn't ignore it. If Hannah had crossed a line, I needed to know. I started by checking her hotel itinerary, subtly cross-referencing her claimed schedule with the receipts she had sent me. Everything seemed normal on paper, but something about the timing didn't add up. The dinner she said was a team outing, lasted far longer than expected. And her supposed client, someone I had spoken to before, hadn't mentioned any extra guest. I knew I had to be careful. Confrontation without proof would make me look paranoid, weak, and vulnerable. Exactly the mistake she would exploit if she were being dishonest. I needed clarity, a plan, and most importantly, control over the situation. As I lay in bed that night, staring at the ceiling, I made a decision. I wouldn't accuse, I wouldn't beg. I would act. And whatever truth awaited me, I would handle it on my own terms. The next morning, I started piecing everything together. Hannah had left early for her flight, so I had the house to myself. I pulled up her emails, checked her messages carefully, and scanned through the hotel's event receipts. Nothing obvious jumped out, but a few small details didn't sit right. Dinner had supposedly ended at 9 p.m., yet her hotel keycard showed her entering the room closer to 11. And the Uber receipts she claimed were for her alone? They were slightly longer than the usual route. I decided to follow up subtly. I called her client under the guise of a scheduling question, casually asking about who attended the dinner. The client mentioned 2 additional people I hadn't been told about, and one of them was male. My stomach tightened. It was one thing to be suspicious. It was another to see evidence stacking up. I didn't act immediately. Panic would only make me sloppy, and Hannah was clever. Instead, I watched and waited. That evening when she returned home, I kept my demeanor neutral, as if nothing had occurred. She noticed my calm, and for a moment, I saw a flicker of something, guilt perhaps, or surprise. Long trip, I said casually, pouring myself a glass of water. Exhausting, she replied, brushing past me without meeting my eyes. I noticed subtle changes. The faint scent still lingered, a nervous edge in her voice. It was enough to confirm my instincts weren't wrong. But I didn't confront her yet. I needed more, undeniable proof. By the second day, I had checked security footage from the hotel lobby. Thankfully, their cameras were publicly accessible for visitors. I saw Hannah meeting someone outside of work hours, someone she hadn't mentioned. She laughed, leaned in close, and the way they touched was intimate, casual. Not just friends. My heart sank, but the anger quickly followed. This was deliberate. She had crossed the line, and I wasn't going to let it slide. That night, I prepared myself. I needed a plan. A confrontation that left no room for lies, excuses, or manipulation. I wouldn't yell. I wouldn't beg. I would show her the consequences of betrayal, in a way she couldn't ignore. As she walked in, smiling as if nothing had happened, I realized I had never felt more certain of one thing. Some truths can't be unseen, and some actions can't be forgiven without accountability. Tonight, she would learn that lesson. Hannah walked through the door, her suitcase in hand, a forced smile on her face. I stayed seated at the kitchen table, calm, collected, the very picture of patience. "Hey," she said lightly, "I'm back." The trip was exhausting but productive. I looked at her, eyes steady. "Hannah, we need to talk." Her smile faltered. "About what?" I gestured to her blouse, the faint stains still visible. "About this. About the cologne that isn't mine. About the dinner that supposedly ended at 9 p.m., and the hotel records that prove otherwise. I've checked everything. I know what happened while you were away." Her face drained of color. She opened her mouth, but no words came out. "I trusted you," I said, my voice calm but cutting. "I gave you my time, my loyalty, my life. And yet you chose to betray that trust. I didn't find out because I snooped out of paranoia. I found out because I pay attention. And I've learned that trust isn't a one-way street." Hannah tried to defend herself. "James, No," I interrupted, standing up. "I'm not here to listen to excuses. I'm here to set boundaries. You crossed the line, and it's not acceptable. If you want this marriage to survive, you need to understand that accountability matters. Actions have consequences." Her eyes filled with panic now, and I could see her realizing she had underestimated me. I had not reacted with anger, but with strategy and resolve. And that was far more powerful. "I'm giving you a choice," I continued. "Either we rebuild on honesty and respect, or we go our separate ways. I won't allow betrayal to slide under the rug. Not now, not ever." For a long moment she said nothing. The silence was deafening, but I held my ground. Finally, she nodded slowly, a mixture of fear and realization in her eyes. "I understand," she whispered. I didn't celebrate, didn't smile. This wasn't about victory. It was about reclaiming my life and my dignity. I had exposed the betrayal, confronted it, and drawn a clear line. I would no longer be invisible, ignored, or taken for granted. Over the next few days, Hannah began to act differently, cautiously, respectfully, aware that I had noticed every detail. And I, for the first time in months, felt a sense of empowerment I hadn't known I needed. I realized that sometimes, the strongest action isn't anger or revenge. It's the calm, unwavering assertion of one's self-worth. That night, as I sat alone reflecting on the events, I understood something fundamental. Trust can be broken, but dignity is forever. And mine was mine to keep.